Well guys, welcome back to the channel. We're on another trip to the farm. I think this is episode 49. I'll have to check. You'll see the title. If you're new to this channel, welcome along. I've had a lot of people join lately, and it's great that you can join in all my videos. We have lots of things going on. We have repairs, we have big cleanup jobs, we have valuations, we have unboxings, we have secondhand dealing, all sorts of stuff. I hope you enjoy your stay. At the moment, the van's parked over here. I'm in a small Victorian country town in central Victoria, an ex-gold mining town, and there's some beautiful old buildings here. And the big double-storey place behind the van is a place I've always admired as I've driven through. Those of you that live locally will probably recognise it, so put in the comments where you think the town is. Okay, we're on the road to the farm. We'll be there in a couple of hours, and we've got a lot of work to do this week. I'll see you there. And we have made it to the farm, so I've backed the van up. I'm going to start loading. The weather's looking a little ominous, but they were forecasting possible showers, but the rest of the week's supposed to be quite nice, which is good. In the last episode, last time I was back here, remember we rolled the old wagon from around the other side of the farmhouse, and it is on eBay, and I think a lot of you guys might be watching it because there's quite a lot of watches on the actual ad. I had it up for $2,000, and just in the last day I've dropped it to $1,500. It actually finishes tomorrow, but some people are out here and were having a look at it with Mum, and they noticed some white ant or termite tracks, and they've had to poke around, and they've actually found some real live white ants, and that surprises me enormously. I thought this wood would be way too hard for termites to get into, but the spot over in the garden where it was parked for at least 30 odd years I think there's a nest nearby in some of the trees, because Mum's had trouble with garden stakes and anything. You lay a bit of timber on the ground and within a few weeks something's, the white ants have got in there. Now, there were some live ones here. You might be able to see these little ones here. Now, Mum sprayed it with something the other week and it's killed them. They've really only just made tracks. I think they've just been looking for something to eat, and they've tracked their way up along through this really old hardwood. And look, all this damage is just rot. That's not white ant damage. I obviously they're in here, but I expect that really it's going to make no difference to anyone that wants to put this wagon on their property as a feature. But I did mention it in the eBay listing. I went in there and changed the description and dropped the price from $2,000 down to $1,500. So that's really just a mark where they've just walked along there, and whoops, I've out of focus there. They tend to build little tunnels because they don't like the light, and they coat their tunnels with mud or dirt, I guess it is. And I'll see if I can find any complete ones. I don't think I can actually. Like this. Hang on, we'll get a stick. So you see here, this little bead of mud is actually a tunnel that they've made to walk through because they don't like direct sunlight. In fact, I believe it kills them. So anyway, there's no sign of any life now, but I thought it prudent to advise any potential eBay bidders of this situation. And look, I've dropped the price by $500. I don't think, as I said, I don't think it'll make any difference to someone that wants to put it on their property as a feature. And because there's no nest as such of termites in the wagon, there's only obviously a few that were just, maybe they were just scouts that were out looking for a tasty piece of wood. And I think we've probably pretty well killed them already. And it wouldn't be hard maybe just to paint a bit of sump oil or something over the wheels. It would help preserve them anyway. So it shouldn't make any real difference to a potential buyer. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I will film the end of the auction tomorrow. We may have a bidder at $1,500. I don't know. If we don't, I won't relist it. I'll put it on a Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace, or a specific group of, there's plenty of groups for old farm machinery and that sort of stuff. I should be able to find a buyer that way, and then there won't be any fees that way, of course. Now, in a recent video when we moved the wagon, one of my supporters, one of my subscribers, Shane Cohen, who always has humorous and interesting comments, said he was bitterly disappointed that I didn't don a cowboy hat when I was moving the wagon, and it probably is fitting. So for Shane, the hat, and I'll go one better, I've got the stock whip, because the wagon is being pulled by some imaginary bullocks and they're a bit sluggish today, so we'll see if we can G them up. Hey, come on. Well, I can still do it. Move it. So there you go, Shane. I've also got a bull whip. This is a stock whip, and I haven't swung that for a long time. So I might have a bit of a swing, because if I do it at home in town, sure enough, 5 minutes later, the police car comes cruising around because someone's reported gunshots. On a farm, you can get away with it. And maybe here's a good pose for Everyday Solace's calendar that she's making. I don't look like a scrapper, but I'm a recycler, and I mean business. Okay, that's the bull whip. It's I think 8 foot long. There's a stock whip, probably a little bit shorter, and it has the cane handle. So we'll give this one a go first. Whoa, my shoulder still works. And the bull whip's a bit heavier and a bit longer, so I hope I don't take the camera off the stand. And louder. All right, enough of that shenanigans. It's not a cowboy hat anyway, it's an Akubra. It's an Australian hat. We're not cowboys, are we? I've been called a cowboy with my clock repairs. Okay, we better get to work. We need to start the old ute. It hasn't been started for a while and the battery's dead flat. Okay, let's walk over to the shed and see if we can get the ute started. And we've still got, oh, Mum got another load of wood delivered, that's right. We've still got a lot of stuff to clean up in that shed. So if you're new to the channel, and as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people have just been joining, this farm is where I grew up. It's been in the family since the 1950s. My family are actually pioneer farming family of this town. It's not the original property. The original property was just on the west side of town. But in the 1950s, my grandparents moved out here, and then Mum and Dad have been here for 61 years, I think. And it's wheat, cropping and sheep. And over the years, it's been, look, it was a great place to grow up. We're not far from town. I think you can, yeah, you might be able to see in the distance between two of those trees on the horizon, there's the water tower, which is in town next to the lake. So we're not far out of town. It was a fabulous place to grow up, and it's been sold. So it's kind of the end of an era, and I've been selling off stuff and cleaning up things around the farm here for, well, probably the last 15 years or so. And we lost Dad last year, and now Mum's moving. So the new owners, Ross and Linnell, will take over as soon as, well, they've already been farming the land for a while, but we have to clean it all up. Now, it's there's a quick rundown of what's going on. So I'm taking a lot of stuff back to Ngambie where I have a shop, a second-hand shop. We have sold all the machinery basically already. That tractor is actually being donated to the local golf club. This is Dad's old ute, which hasn't been started for 6 weeks or so, and it's dead flat. So we need to get that going, because one of the things I'm going to do this trip, and I have to do it this afternoon, is load the trailer up with a lot of old tin and wire to go out to the local transfer station, which I shall do in the morning when they're open. So I've got to load up this afternoon. So that's the first job, but trumping it is obviously getting the ute started. And you can see spiderwebs have taken over. It's very dusty. And, you know, I'm the only one that's been driving it, and it's been sitting here for about 6 weeks. So let's get it started, and let's go and give it a quick wash first before we load up the trailer. Okay, we've got our jumper pack on there. Hopefully it's good to fire up. And let's see how we go. Beautiful. Okay, we need power and water, and switch on the pressure washer. And let's have a look at the ute now that it's out of the shed. It's very dusty and dirty. It's amazing how quickly things just, I guess, deteriorate. Even though it's only dust and cobwebs, eventually things start to break down, rubber starts to perish, batteries die. Certainly much better using things than just leaving them parked. Anyway, we'll clean it up quick, smart. Okay, just a 5-minute rinse, but it looks stacks better. So that'll be ready to go. It's still running actually, I left it idling. So let's go and load up some steel while the weather's nice, and we can get it all ready for a trip out to the transfer station first thing in the morning. Starting to run out of light now, but I did manage to load the trailer up. We've got a lot of messy wire and a small fridge that was no good. And you may remember, if you've been following the series, that I deconstructed some mattresses and burnt the non-toxic stuff off the wire bases, so we've got them to take to the tip as well. So all this is free, just big scrap metal pile out there, but there's really not much weight. There's certainly nothing I'd be interested in actually carting off to the scrapyard, so it's good to be able to get rid of it for free. A few other bits in the back of the ute. So the showers didn't amount to anything. It's just been a bit overcast, but it's been quite pleasant. The forecast for the week is supposed to be very nice. No other showers other than the chance tonight. And nice sunny days, light winds, and temperatures that are going to be chilly morning and evening, but quite pleasant during the day. The land around here, well, it could use another drink. We had a bit of a rain last week. A lot of the farmers are out cropping. A lot of the farmers these days actually, because they're cropping such large acreages, they actually sow dry and then basically just cross their fingers and hope you get rain. The risk there is if you get a bit of a rain and the grain actually shoots and you don't get follow-up rain, well, it can die. You can also have mice and birds get the grain if it doesn't shoot. So, as it's well known, farming is a risky game. Hopefully we get a good follow-up rain soon and it's a good season for everyone. So there we go. That finishes today. Well, it's only half a day because I didn't get here till lunchtime. And we'll be ready to take off first thing in the morning to the transfer station. Now, as you guys will be aware, it is episode 50. I was only guessing at the start of this video. So 50 episodes of the Great Farm Cleanup. There's a lot more to go. Mum is coming back with me this trip. So she's kind of officially actually moving to Nagambie, but she'll come back with me regularly. And two of my kids are coming over next week to pick up her car because it's too far for Mum to drive over to Nagambie. She doesn't do that much driving at 85 anymore, but she can still has a license and will still drive around Nagambie once she gets familiar with the streets. So again, the priority this week is to get the van full, and if Mum constitutes part of the load, that's fine, as long as we fill the van up, take a load of furniture and boxes and all the other stuff that Mum's going to need over in Nagambie, and then we'll be back probably in a couple of weeks. We've got a few days here to work on things, so there'll be a few episodes this week. Thanks for following along. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.